Hey guys, this is Nick with PhoneArena, and the Huawei P9 has one of the more peculiar cameras that we've seen on a smartphone lately. On its back we have not one but two cameras made in partnership with German optics company Leica. Two cameras should be capable of capturing more visual information, and that should result in better photos, or at least that is the theory. Cameras aside, the Huawei P9 is looking like a great smartphone overall, with attractive design on the outside and powerful hardware on the inside. Let us see if its $600 price tag is justified. Although the Huawei P9 doesn't introduce anything new in terms of design, it is still a good-looking, well-built smartphone. It is thin and light, it doesn't feel too big in the hand given the 5.2-inch screen size, and its chamfered edges make for a smooth transition between the glass covering the screen and the metal backplate. But we think the whole camera setup at the back spoils everything. It is way too distracting and just not pretty to look at. At the phone's bottom we see a USB Type-C port, meaning that the charging cable can go in either way, which is convenient. And speaking of convenience, the fingerprint scanner at the back of the phone is one of the fastest we've tried. It is highly reliable as well. The LCD screen on the Huawei P9 packs more than enough pixels to produce smooth and detailed images. Also, sticking to 1080p resolution instead of going for a Quad HD display means that games run at better frame rates. On the downside, color inaccuracies are noticeable even with a naked eye. Whites and shades of grey appear bluish, while most colors are oversaturated. Many people wouldn't be bothered by this, but we have to point it out. We must also mention that the display has good outdoor visibility. We did not have any problems using the P9 on a sunny day. The Huawei P9 runs Android 6.0, but it has been heavily modified, so it feels very different from stock Android. EMUI 4.1 is the name of the custom software layer, and in many ways it tries to mimic Apple's iOS. For example, there is no app drawer. Instead, all of your applications appear on your home screen. Also, if you pull down from any screen, you get a search panel. But there is also a ton of features that you won't get in iOS or stock Android, such as the support for user interface themes, one-handed mode, or the integration of the fingerprint scanner into the UI. For example, if you swipe down on the scanner, it shows you your notifications. Overall, the software is something that you'll either love or hate about this smartphone. It is loaded with many features that power users and smartphone enthusiasts might like and actually use. On the other hand, some people might feel overwhelmed with all the settings and controls they are given access to. In any case, the Huawei P9 performs really well. It doesn't set any new benchmark records, but you shouldn't really be bothered by this because the user interface is responsive and runs smoothly. Even demanding games with 3D graphics and intensive gameplay run at high frame rates. Google Chrome is the default web browser and it also runs reliably as it should. Page rendering is fast, scrolling is smooth, and you have access to features like a data saver and syncing tabs between devices. And now comes the most interesting part of this review. The 12-megapixel dual camera on the Huawei P9 shoots color images using one of the sensors and monochrome images with the other. The two are then combined to produce a better, sharper, more detailed image, especially in low light, or at least that is the idea. Here we are in the camera application, which usually takes a few moments to load. The default screen is plain and simple, but a swipe gives you access to a whole bunch of shooting modes. A swipe to the other side is where you access your camera settings. And if you pull up, you get manual camera controls. Image quality is really good, we have to say. Colors are accurate, without being under or oversaturated. There is plenty of details in the shots and sharpness is well controlled. But the Huawei P9 doesn't set a new standard in smartphone photography. Low-light images look nice, but aren't any better compared to what other high-end phones can shoot. Taking photos only with the black and white camera can be of some advantage in low-light situations, because of its higher sensitivity, but obviously you'll be sacrificing colors. There is also a mode that lets you add artistic blur to the images. It uses both cameras to figure out how the effect should be applied, and you have the freedom to adjust its strength. This mode isn't exactly a gimmick, but we don't see ourselves using it every day. It works in some cases, but in others the blur looks forced and artificial. The Huawei P9 can also shoot Full HD video at up to 60 frames per second. Videos look fine, but aren't any better compared to what we've seen from other phones in this price category. Detail quality is average and the camera takes a while to change focus. Photos and videos that you take can be viewed in the stock image gallery. The app works well and has a valuable selection of image editing tools, from basic cropping and rotating to adjusting things like color saturation or the levels of shadows and highlights. There is a single loudspeaker at the bottom of the phone. Its quality can be described as average. It is loud enough and doesn't crackle at high volume, but it lacks in depth. Sound quality during phone calls, on the other hand, is great. The earpiece is loud and voices coming out of it sound natural. As far as battery life goes, the Huawei P9 will last you through a day of normal usage, or maybe a day and a half if you don't push it too much. This makes it about as good as rivals like the Galaxy S7 or the LG G5. Charging the phone from 0 to full takes over 2 hours, which is relatively slow. In conclusion, the Huawei P9 is a good smartphone. Throughout our testing, we did not encounter any deal-breaking flaws. The UI works fine, the camera takes nice photos, and the display, despite its inaccurate color reproduction, gets the job done. But at the same time, we feel like there is nothing that sets the Huawei P9 above the competition. The camera is its biggest highlight, and even though it works fine, it takes good photos, it doesn't seem to be any better compared to the cameras on other high-end Android models. But nevertheless, we enjoyed the time we spent with the Huawei P9 as a daily driver. It's a phone worth checking out, as long as you don't mind the $600 price tag. Thank you for watching our review of the Huawei P9. Don't forget to check out our website, PhoneArena.com, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to never miss a video.